Hi, this is Warlow from Business Loan Services and welcome to my Friday Business Finance Bulletin, my weekly roundup of news, tips, ideas and strategies on raising finance and dealing with banks. So what have I got for you this week? Well, we're going to be looking at the alternative finance scene, what's new there. I'm also going to be taking a look at what banks are doing when it comes to lending to businesses. Your credit report, some news there on what the credit reference agencies are going to be doing to increase transparency for lenders on your personal credit profile. And in my business finance tip of the week, a chat with a team member from the Lloyds Bank Commercial Finance Department talking about their invoice discounting service. Now, alternative finance. The more businesses we speak to, it's clear more and more of them are becoming aware of alternative finance. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we're talking about peer-to-peer lending, crowdfunding, asset finance, invoice discounting, short-term loans, all of those finance products out there. And a survey caught my eye this week by Amicus, and they went to chat with business owners generally about alternative sources, and that survey found that 64% of those surveyed said they think that demand for alternative finance is going to increase over the next 5 years. Now, perhaps that may not be surprising of itself, but it's surprising that so many businesses were aware of alternative finance. Of the surveyed, 42% said that they had actively considered using alternative finance. And what came top? Hey, perhaps not unsurprisingly, it was peer-to-peer lending and crowdfunding. So it just goes to show business owners are now more willing to embrace alternative sources. Now, linked to that, Funding Circle, a leading provider on the crowdfunding side. Now, for many months they've been supporting property developers. So those people got plots of land looking to develop out. And Funding Circle said this week that they've seen increased demand from both investors and property developers for short-term loans. So they've listened to that demand and they've just now launched a short-term loan product, almost like a bridging loan. So if you are a property developer or an investor and you've got cash tied up in an asset that's just not working for you and you need cash quickly, then Funding Circle may be able to help you out. So why would you need cash quickly? A very quick refurb project. It may be that you're going to an auction and you need cash pretty quick, or cash tight, sat there knowing that it's there ready for when you want to buy. All those sorts of things. Now, if you're in that camp and you want to know more about whether a bridging loan from Funding Circle or other providers could help, just drop us a line, info@businessloanservices.co.uk, and we'll see what we can do for you. Now, what about banks generally, traditional sources of finance? News out this week, latest statistics on the Funding for Lending scheme. Now, the Funding for Lending scheme was launched really at the depths of the recession when the Bank of England realised that banks needed some support to get money out into the economy. So the Funding for Lending scheme is cheap money is lent to banks and they on-lend it at the cheaper rate again on to businesses. And to be honest with you, the scheme has had kind of mixed results, but the latest stats came out for the end of March, for the first quarter 2015, that showed that the total amount of money out under the scheme increased by £635 million. Now that compared to a shrinkage of £800 million in the last quarter of 2014. So it shows that more money is coming out. Now, it's not broadly representative, to be honest, of the level of activity amongst banks, because not all banks participate in the Funding for Lending scheme. Barclays and HSBC, for example, being two. But it just shows there is some level of activity going on. And that has been further confirmed by some more figures that I saw from the Bank of England, looking again at the total amount of money currently lent as at the end of April out in the marketplace by all the banks. So this is a total amount out there currently. And to April 2015, from April 2014, the total stock of money lent out shrank by about 0.4%. Now you may think, well, Rob, what's good about that? The total amount of money shrunk. Well, a couple of years ago, I was reporting figures of shrinkages of 3 to 4%. So it shows, that a lot of progress has been made. So it's just about level pegging now, just at 0.5% shrinkage. So some good news there. And when you put that together with alternative finance, it just shows more money is now starting to come into the economy for those businesses who need it. So there's some good news there. Now, your credit report. If it's one thing that really does hold us back when it comes to applying for finance, it's people not really being aware of the importance of having a clean credit report. And one thing that credit reports have never really included in the past are your utility bills, gas, electricity, phone, that sort of thing. And sometimes you can be late on those, and that does have a kind of a reflection of what your credit is like, but it's been missing. Well, Experian have just said that they're now going to start integrating all those utility payments into your credit profile. So lenders are going to have even more information on which to base your request for borrowing money. So what's the message here? Well, obviously pay your bills on time. But the key thing is, first of all, just make sure you understand what is registered on your credit report. I've mentioned previously the likes of Experian, Equifax and Call Credit all offer a copy of a credit report called a statutory report for just £2. It's a government legislated thing. They have to offer this to you, a one-time hit for £2. So please do go in and request a copy of your credit report so you know what is registered against you. It's really come home to us this week. We're helping a client raise some money to buy a business premises, and he didn't realise the problems that would face because of late payments and various defaults. He'd never looked at his credit report. There was stuff on there that was plainly wrong, of defaults that happened ages ago, and it wasn't his fault, it was a lender's fault. But it's going to cause problems. Now, we'll get him the money, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be at an interest rate that he's going to like. So get hold of a copy of your report and keep your file very clean. So what's my business finance tip of the week? Well, invoice discounting. I mentioned those as one of an alternative source of finance that you can look at. And I had an opportunity to have a chat with Gareth Pritchard from Lloyds Bank Commercial Finance team. And in this interview with Gareth, I just asked him to share a little bit about how invoice discounting can work for you. So let's go to that chat now.
So invoice financing then is a product aimed at businesses looking to release cash out of the debtor book to aid their growth or their expansion plans or acquisition plans. It covers a range of turnover businesses, so from new starts, sole traders, limiteds, up to PLCs, national companies, multi-million pound turnover companies. Its main purpose is to aid their cash flow. They can do various things with that. Sectors we can cover into construction. This is a growing sector of our business at the moment, with construction and the economy now being a bit more stable. That's pushing forward. We've made ourselves be more available in that market and given more finance to construction companies, which was quite difficult in the past. In terms of why pick Lloyds, the flexibility that we offer and the service we offer our customers. We don't tie people into contracts because we believe that our service will speak for itself, and if they're not happy, then obviously we assist them in other ways. But what Lloyds offers the flexibility, it's got brand reputation, and it can deal with businesses of any size.
So some great insights from Gareth there about invoice discounting. If you want to know if that could work for you, say just drop us a line, info@businessloanservices.co.uk, and we're happy to have a chat. So that's it for this week. As ever, don't forget, if you're just watching this on the video version, we also have the podcast versions available on SoundCloud and iTunes. Just go to one of those two platforms and search for Business Finance Bulletin, and you'll find us there to subscribe to. That's it for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a great, successful and profitable week, and I look forward to being with you again next Friday. Bye-bye now.